Hey everyone, welcome to the Pinkston AI Weekly Update. I'm Wesley, and this week we're talking about GEO, or Generative Engine Optimization. We've mentioned this before, but there's a growing number of people that are using large language models like you would use a search engine. So it's becoming increasingly important for your content to show up within those large language model search results. And there are a number of tools that are popping up, and Ben mentioned a great one in his monthly newsletter, which you should definitely take a look at, that help folks see how they're performing in large language model results. But the question becomes, okay, well, how do I show up in those search engines to begin with? Is there a way that I can format my content so that it's prioritized over my competitors? And that's where GEO, or Generative Engine Optimization, comes in. Generative optimization, by way of definition, is essentially the practice of getting your content referenced or quoted in AI tools during conversations. For example, if someone searched top communications firm in Northern Virginia, Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO, would be about getting Pinkston to show up in that search result. I'll tell you, if you do a quick Google search or a quick LLM search, you'll probably see that there's all sorts of tips and tricks and techniques to format your content in a way that helps it appear better in LLM results. And those are all well and good, but at the end of the day, the issue is a content issue. We've written about this before, but it seems that LLMs tend to rank content based on a few important factors, and those factors tend to be primarily content focused. The first factor is relevancy. Does the content that the LLM is looking at even match what the user's original query was? You can have the best content in the world and it can be formatted in the perfect way, but if it doesn't answer the question that the user is asking, it's never going to appear. And really, this just comes down to content strategy. What are your users searching for? Are you writing content that helps answer those questions? The second thing that LLMs tend to look at is authority. Is your website trustworthy? Is the content that you're sharing authoritative? I mean, do you know what you're talking about? Or are you writing about things that are completely outside of your area of expertise? LLMs want to show users high quality results and deliver answers that are factually correct. So high authority sites like government agencies or universities or major media outlets tend to be weighted more heavily because they're trusted with lots of backlinks and consistent traffic and have a long history of publishing good quality content online. You've also probably seen that websites like Reddit and Wikipedia also tend to show up a fair amount because LLMs view that content as authentic and from real sources who have real experience dealing with the question that the user is asking. Finally, freshness seems to be a factor when LLMs are ranking content, particularly for queries that involve news. So articles from this morning will tend to get priority over an article from 5 months ago, especially if the topic is urgent. My point in walking you through all this is that I want you to see that this really isn't that fundamentally different from the best practices that came out of the search engine optimization industry. The SEO industry has been around for decades, and really the golden thread that has come out of years of tests, years of research, government testimonies is that search engines are looking for the best content to show to their users. This is less about specific techniques and more about just having a good content strategy. Authoritative, authentic content framed around questions that people are actually asking tends to be content that performs better in both search engines and large language models. Well, with that, here's a few rapid-fire news stories from this week that you should know about. First, there's a rumor, and it's just a rumor, that Apple is working on launching its own artificial intelligence web search tool. It's kind of like what Perplexity has done and what OpenAI has said that they're going to do. And the idea is that this system would integrate into Siri and then potentially into their Safari web browser at some point. Second, there's a bill in California called SB 53, which has a nice ring to it, that would require AI model developers like OpenAI or Anthropic or Google or X or others to develop safety frameworks and release public safety and security reports before they deploy AI models. It'd also provide protections for whistleblowers who come forward with safety concerns. Finally, I thought it'd be helpful to show you a tool that I found helpful this week. If you haven't explored LM Arena, you should definitely take a look at it. LM Arena is a tool that was created by some folks at UC Berkeley, and essentially what it does is it pits LLMs against each other, and then it ranks them. Essentially what happens is that users put in a prompt, and the tool will pick two random LLM models and have them both run the prompt at the same time. And and then it'll show you the result. And once you see the result, you then pick which one performed the best. This tool is really cool because it allows you to play with some of the latest large language models. On top of that, they have a leaderboard section that gives you some insight into how the latest models are stacking up in the real world. And this has become a standard benchmark for how well LLMs are performing, and it's worth exploring. You can try it out for free at lmarina.ai. Well, those are the updates from this week. I feel like I learned a lot exploring these new tools and concepts, and I hope it was helpful to you. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time on the next weekly AI update. I'll see you then.